So here's a secret. What you hear, what you give attention to, will affect your mind, what you think, what you believe, and how you act. Confidence is built on what you constantly hear, or confidence is built in what you constantly hear. Hearing either builds faith or fear in what you're hearing. You can continue to hear negative things, wrong information, and confidence be built in those things. Or you can continuously be exposed to right information, positive things, and confidence be built in those things. Now, there's nothing wrong with being informed, but let's give attention to what's truth more than anything. Let's give attention to truth more than anything. Negative information has the ability to infect your mind and your entire soul and affect your behavior. It will be the very thing that rules or tries to rule over your mind and your life. Because, newsflash, there are entities around you that are looking to project and enforce negative and wrong thinking into your mind and false perceptions of reality into your mind to get you to act on them. But we don't have to allow this. We have control over what we listen to and over what we expose ourselves to on a continuous basis. When Jesus was transfigured on the mountain with Peter, James, and John, the voice of the Father was heard saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear him." And Jesus instructs to listen to what he says and to pay close attention to what he says. And that whoever hears what he says and does it is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Who built his house on the rock. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. And it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine, he said, and does not do them, will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. Who does that? And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And again in Proverbs 4:20 through 22, we are instructed to give our attention to his word, God's word, to listen carefully to what he says, to allow his word to penetrate deep within our heart, because they bring life to us, to those who find them, and healing to their whole body. So we must constantly give attention to what God says, to his word. We must constantly be speaking it, reading it, hearing it, thinking about it, memorizing it, and not and limiting, I would say, our exposure to the negative information that surrounds us, that we can block out because it doesn't come from him. And I strongly recommend listening to teachings daily and constantly, because that is a really good way of building up your faith. Now, this is the power of the mind. It feeds off of what, it lives off of what you feed it. So, as Philippians 4:8 says in the Amplified Version, finally, believers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, and worthy of respect, whatever is right and confirmed by God's word, whatever is pure and wholesome, whatever is lovely and brings peace, whatever is admirable and of good repute. If there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think continually on these things and not the negative. Center your mind on them and implant them in your heart. We want what we hear and give our attention to build our faith and confidence in God and what He says. Because what He says is what matters.